Well, good morning, folks, and welcome back to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. Listen, this weekend, folks across America will be lighting the grill and waving at a parade, maybe even snagging a sofa at one of those so-called Labor Day sales events. But before you toast that burger bun, I want to tell you the truth. Labor Day isn't the most American holiday that we've got. In fact, it might even be the least American holiday that we celebrate. Yeah, I said it. Labor Day isn't a celebration of work. It's a celebration of a worldview, one cooked up in union halls and tinged with some Marxist ideology, and sold to the American people as apple pie with a side of fireworks. And today, so I'm gonna peel back the picnic blanket. We're gonna talk about the true origins of Labor Day and how it still carries Marxist DNA, and why voices like my friend Chris Ann Hall call it Proletariat Day. Spoiler alert. She's right.
Here's a quick history that you won't hear in the government textbooks, or won't see in government textbooks. Labor Day was born in the late 1800s. Big labor unions, the Knights of Labor, the American Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO as we know it now, were on the rise. Strikes were breaking out across the country. In 1894, the Pullman strike turned violent. Federal troops were called in. People were killed. And President Grover Cleveland was looking for a political band-aid. So what did he do? He signed Labor Day into law. Not because he believed in celebrating work, but he needed to appease the angry union leaders. Even more telling, he chose September instead of May. Why? Because May 1st is May Day. Was already celebrating internationally as a socialist and communist holiday. Cleveland didn't want America openly embracing Marxism, but still he wanted to throw the unions a bone, so he rebranded. And that's how Labor Day was born. Not from a uniquely American spirit of innovation or individual achievement. No. It was a political sop to unions, rooted in the rhetoric of class struggle. Now, let's be clear. Honoring hard work is good. Scripture tells us, if a man will not work, neither shall he eat. Work is dignity. Work is calling. Work is stewardship. But Labor Day doesn't honor work. It honors labor as a collective identity. That's a subtle but a crucial distinction, because once you elevate labor as a class, separate from management, entrepreneurs, or owners, you're buying into Karl Marx's whole worldview. His big idea? History is a battle between workers and the capitalists. Labor Day, at its core, enshrines that idea. So it tells you, first of all, that your worth isn't found in your individual achievement. No, but your membership in the working class. It tells you that your freedom isn't secured by God and guaranteed by the Constitution, but the government regulation and union negotiations. That's how your future is secured and your freedom is secured. It tells you that prosperity doesn't come from the creativity of free men and women and free markets, but from collective action and redistribution. That's why every Labor Day speech that you're going to hear from progressive politicians sounds like a Marxist playbook. They first thank the unions. Remember the struggle. The bosses are greedy. Only Washington can guarantee fairness. And you know what fair? You know what fair is, right? Fair is the place you go to judge pigs. That's what a fair is. Anyway, it's never about celebrating the guy who took a risk, opened a shop, created some jobs. It's never about the family that worked 2 years, saved every penny, built a business. It's always about class resentment and the internal drumbeat of envy. You know, folks, this truth telling doesn't happen without you. The Morning Report is brought to you by the folks at 7 Weeks Coffee, the pro life company that puts values before politics. Every cup supports pregnancy care centers and the work of defending life. So right now, head over to 7weekscoffee.com, 7weekscoffee.com, and use the code Morning Report at checkout. 7weekscoffee.com. Use the code Morning Report at checkout. You know, in doing all of this for these years, one of the great people I've met is Chris Ann Hall. So let's bring a voice that doesn't mince words. Constitutional attorney and fiery liberty advocate Chris Ann Hall has taken aim at this holiday for years. She doesn't call it Labor Day; she calls it Proletariat Day. Now, here's some of her sarcasm that we can find on X or on Twitter. She asks, "What are you going to do on Proletariat Day this year?" Yeah, we call it Labor Day, by the way. If you have a day off, don't forget to thank a communist. Enjoy, right? And she's not joking, because if you trace the roots back, the unions, the socialist organizers, the class rhetoric, she is dead on. This isn't a holiday born of Jeffersonian freedom or Washington's courage. It's born of Marxist envy, dressed up with parades and beer coolers. Chris Ann also says this. She says, being a working class person means I love free markets and libertarian principles. Communism is a political system of oppression. That's the contrast. America's always honored work, but our tradition honors it through freedom. Marxism twists that into a political weapon, using labor as a battering ram against markets, against ownership, and against the American dream. All right, so if Labor Day isn't the most American holiday, what is? I'll tell you straight, the 4th of July. Fireworks, flags, freedom. It celebrates the moment America declared independence from tyranny. That is as American as it gets. Other contenders, Thanksgiving, with its deep roots in faith and gratitude. Memorial Day, honoring the sacrifice of those who laid down their lives for liberty. Those are woven into the fabric of America. Labor Day, the knockoff, an imported ideology, a clever rebrand of Marxist May Day. Now, y'all gonna be saying, come on, Willie. Nobody's thinking about Karl Marx when they buy hot dogs this weekend. True enough. Most Americans just want a break. But here's the problem. The left still uses Labor Day as a pulpit. Every year you'll hear speeches about how corporations exploit workers, how governments must do more, how unions built the middle class. The narrative is always the same, and you're powerless without the state. That's the Marxist undercurrent. Even if the average guy doesn't buy it, the politicians, the unions, the progressive think tanks most certainly do. They seize the symbolism every September to keep class resentment alive. And resentment is a fertilizer of socialism. There you go. So that's the truth, my friends. Work is American. Freedom is American. Responsibility is American. But Labor Day, as it was conceived and as it's still leveraged, is not. The real American way is the dignity of the individual, the man who builds, the woman who creates, the family that strives. Not because the government orders it, but because God designed us to work, to produce, to steward this creation. So this Labor Day, enjoy the grill, enjoy some family time, but please remember this. You don't owe your holiday to a union boss or a Marxist theory. You owe it to the American spirit, the spirit of liberty that built this country. And as our friend Chris Hahn reminds us, please, if you really want to know the truth about Labor Day, it's not a holiday for freedom. It's a holiday for collectivism. And friends, collectivism is not the American way. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. Till we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.